Every morning, Adam sat by his small window with a cup of warm tea, watching the streets slowly wake up. Cars passed, birds argued on electric wires, and shopkeepers lifted their shutters. Adam understood English well. He could read books, watch movies, and even write messages without much trouble. But whenever he tried to speak, his mouth froze. The words stayed trapped in his mind, clear and perfect there, but broken and weak when they finally came out. This problem followed him everywhere, like a shadow he could not escape. One day, while scrolling on his phone, Adam found a simple sentence that changed his thinking. Fluency is not in the brain alone, it lives in the mouth. He read it again and again. It made him realize something important. He had trained his eyes to read and his ears to listen, but he had never trained his mouth to speak. He expected fluency without practice, just like expecting strong muscles without exercise. That morning, he decided to do something different. Adam stood in front of the mirror and looked at himself. At first, it felt strange. He opened his mouth and tried to say a simple sentence, "Good morning. How are you today?" His voice sounded low and unsure. He stopped and sighed. Then he remembered that children do not speak perfectly on their first try. They repeat, make mistakes, and repeat again. So he tried once more. This time, he spoke louder. The words still felt heavy, but they came out. He began a small routine. Every day, he chose 5 simple sentences and spoke them again and again. He did not rush. He focused on moving his lips clearly, opening his mouth properly, and letting the sounds flow. Sometimes he exaggerated the words, almost like acting in a play. It felt silly, but it worked. Slowly, his mouth became more comfortable with English sounds. At first, Adam felt embarrassed even when he was alone. He worried about making mistakes, even though no one was listening. But he soon understood that fear does not disappear by avoiding it. Fear becomes smaller only when you face it. He allowed himself to speak incorrectly. He allowed pauses, wrong pronunciation, and broken sentences. Instead of stopping, he kept going. After a few days, Adam noticed a small change. When he spoke, he did not stop as often to think about grammar. His mouth began to move automatically, following the rhythm of the language. He started talking to himself while doing daily tasks. While cooking, he described what he was doing. While walking, he talked about the weather, the shops, and the people around him. English slowly became a living language, not just words on a page. One evening, Adam met his friend online for a short call. Normally, he avoided voice calls, preferring text messages. This time, he forced himself to speak. His heart beat fast when the call connected. The first few sentences were shaky, but then something surprising happened. His mouth remembered the practice. Words came out more easily than before. He still made mistakes, but he did not stop. He kept speaking, and his confidence grew with every sentence. After the call ended, Adam smiled. It was not perfect, but it was progress. He understood that fluency is not a sudden gift. It is built slowly, through daily effort. Training the mouth is like training a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Silence makes it weak, but speaking, even imperfectly, makes it powerful. Days turned into weeks. Adam continued his routine with patience. He read short texts aloud, listened to simple audio, and repeated sentences until they felt natural. Sometimes he recorded his voice and listened to it. At first, he disliked the sound, but later he noticed improvement. His pronunciation became clearer, his speed smoother, and his pauses fewer. Adam no longer waited to be ready to speak. He understood that speaking itself creates readiness. English stopped being a subject he studied and became a tool he used. His mouth learned what his mind already knew. And every day, with each spoken sentence, he moved one step closer to true fluency. The first time Sarah tried to speak English in public, her voice shook so much that she almost stopped. The words were simple, words she had known for years, but they felt heavy as stones on her tongue. She smiled to hide her fear, finished her sentence quickly, and promised herself she would not speak again unless she was completely sure. That promise followed her for a long time, silently limiting her world. Sarah was not weak in English. She read novels, watched interviews, and understood lessons without difficulty. Yet speaking was different. Speaking demanded courage, not just knowledge. Her mind worked fast, but her mouth moved slowly, as if it needed permission. Every time she wanted to speak, Fear whispered, "What if you make a mistake?" So she stayed quiet. One afternoon, while listening to a graded reader audio, Sarah heard the narrator say something that stayed with her. "Your mouth must learn English the same way your ears and eyes did, through repetition." Sarah paused the audio. She realized she had never truly practiced speaking. She had practiced silence. From that moment, she decided to change her habit. She started small, very small. Each morning, Sarah read one short paragraph aloud. She did not care about speed or accent. Her only goal was movement. She wanted her mouth to feel English sounds again and again. Some days, her pronunciation felt stiff, and her sentences sounded flat. Still, she continued. She learned that comfort comes from familiarity, not perfection. At first, she avoided recording her voice. Hearing herself felt uncomfortable. But one day, she pressed the record button and spoke for 1 minute about her day. When she listened back, she noticed mistakes, but she also noticed something else. She sounded clearer than she expected. That small discovery gave her confidence. She was not as bad as her fear had told her. Sarah added another habit. She chose one daily situation and practiced speaking for it. One day, she practiced ordering food. Another day, she practiced introducing herself. She repeated the same lines many times, changing small details. Her mouth slowly learned common patterns. Speaking stopped feeling like a test and started feeling like a routine. Sometimes, Sarah spoke to herself while walking. She described what she saw, what she felt, and what she planned to do. At first, she spoke quietly. Then, as her confidence grew, her voice became stronger. She stopped hiding her English. She allowed it to exist, even in public spaces. There were still difficult days. Some days, her mouth felt tired, and her words came out slowly. On those days, she wanted to quit. But she remembered something important. Progress is not always loud. Sometimes it is silent and slow, but still real. She reminded herself that every sentence spoken was a step forward. After a few weeks, Sarah joined a short online discussion group. She was nervous before speaking, but this time the fear felt smaller. When her turn came, she spoke. She made mistakes, paused, and corrected herself, but she did not stop. She noticed something new in the faces of the listeners. They were not judging her. They were listening. That moment changed her deeply. She realized that communication is about connection, not perfection. People understand effort more than accuracy. Her mouth no longer needed permission to speak. It had learned through practice. Over time, Sarah's fluency improved naturally. She stopped translating in her head. Her sentences flowed more easily. English became part of her daily life, not a performance she feared. She understood that fluency is built in moments of courage, one spoken sentence at a time. Sarah still practices every day. Not because she is weak, but because she knows the secret now. A fluent speaker is not someone who never makes mistakes. A fluent speaker is someone who speaks anyway.